You are now tuned in to Dope Dynamics on the Hold Up TV network every Wednesday night at 10 p.m.
This is another Sensi Story series.
Yo, it's your boy DJ Sensi Star, only on the Hold Up TV network. This is Dope Dynamics on another Wednesday night. We about to get into some real live conversation, but before we do that, let me spit a little something like, yo, it's your boy Sensi Star, and we on the Hold Up TV network where the conversations matter, booty popping, shaking our net worth, grinding Monday through Friday, don't matter, we lock it down. I guess we can agree on that when the Vinky come around. Shout out to the man, it's Captain of Rope Planning, family of mine, school, video games, movies, and antics. We got a sports team too, going by the adults from crew. If you hate them rules, Island, you already know what to do. Here's my announcer, the Izzy, rapping, singing, get trippy, but don't get it twisted. For shots without missing. That's an upset radio, tree and Leilani on a mission. Guest speakers and letters, you really shouldn't miss it. Kathy D, Love and Carmen, 3 Power Love Latinas, about to blow up in the glue that keeps the team up. Then my man DT Dub, the money maker, gameplay commentator. I love my team of content creators. Yeah, y'all know what it is. DJ Sensi Star, Da Vinky, Princess Bex, Steve, real name, no gimmicks, only on the Hold Up TV network. You know we do this dope dynamic things every Wednesday night. If you don't like what we got to say, politely see yourself out the mother door. So you came for some dope dynamics, well, you in the right place. Our topic and controversy, what we might face, having fun and politicking, no matter what we might say. It's opinions on the table and there ain't no right way. A collection of individuals who could be night and day. 4 members at the table going through it the harder way and won't be pacified just cause Juneteenth is a holiday. We gon' hit you with this MJ, but the fade'll never fall away. Feminists are up and best believe they watching. She got the knowledge and dish out more than Stockton. Real name, no gimmicks, and can't nobody stop it. The Hold Up TV network armed and we locked in. Princess Bex, if you're nasty, yeah, you should watch it. Always keep the crown on even when she talks shit. I'm the beast slayer, so you better cop quick. You can mic for me now, but I'm a DJ till I'm top. You heard what it is. We are now just moments away from Dope Dynamics, exclusively on the Hold Up TV network.
You are now listening to DJ Sensi Star on the Hold Up TV network.
Greetings and salutations from the black side of the internet. It's your boy Steve, real name no gimmicks, here with owner, proprietor of Dope Dynamics, my partner in crime, my partner in petty. But we're gonna do our best tonight not to be petty. DJ Sensi Star, how are you doing, my brother?
Yo, I am doing great. I am doing wonderful. It has been a pretty good day. The sun was out. The temperature was just right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for making me feel great, Tim. What the?
I appreciate it.
Making you look naked. Oh man, another episode of Dope Dynamics. We didn't get to do Dumbing Out last night. Had to reschedule another show as well. But while we're waiting for the ever tardy Princess Bex, we can get into a little Dumbing Out news right now. We had some stuff I wanted to catch up on Dumbing Out last night, man. Obviously, the games, wilding out, dissing Eminem, all types of stuff going on in the world, man. But something I wanted to talk to you about that happened last week. Dame Dash was on an interview, one of his many opportunities to diss Jay-Z, right? But he said the not most successful, but the greatest MC or artist to come out of the Rockefeller was Kanye, not Jigga Man. Your thoughts, man?
No, he's just saying greatest as in like all around. He didn't say he was a better rapper than Jay-Z, did he? I
He said
mean,
he was the greatest artist to come out of like the great like, and he didn't mean like that thing where you can par and parcel and be like, well, who's an artist, who's an MC. He was saying that essentially he was alluding to that Kanye was the best thing to come out of Roc-A-Fella in that era of music, which is funny because Dame Dash put Kanye on, and then when the whole thing fell apart, Kanye went off with Dame Dash, with Jay-Z. So, Kanye he admitted to this. He felt like he had done Dame a little dirty when he slid off with Jay-Z and then went on to make, Watch the Throne. Some people argue, not saying they're correct, that it's one of the greatest duo MC compilation albums ever made. I don't think it's that great. Obviously, N-Words in Paris is a catchy hook, catchy song, but Dame Dash says Kanye's the one. Said he was the one. I would have given it to Beanie Siegel, to be honest with you. That first Beanie Siegel album, that one song, I Don't Do Much. Have you ever listened to that track?
Yeah.
That song is hard. That song is hard.
That's tough for me because I want to say I really don't see he's not a better rapper than Jay-Z. I know that's for sure. But if I'm going to take it at the word of just artist, man, he might be onto something there, man. He might. I mean, he's got a lot of albums. He's up there.
He's got a catalog for sure, man. Kanye's got a catalog. I'm looking at it from bars to bars. Like I'm probably looking at it the same way as you, and I'll probably pick. I would think Jay is the better MC of the two. But I'm just trying to think. Am I being biased because I did love that first Kanye album. That's, people talk about, the impact that Eminem had on hip hop in regards to people looking at hip hop in a different way. But that first album, Kanye really brought it to the masses in regards to, a different look on MCs, on black MCs at the very least. But I don't know, the greatest thing to come out of Roc-A-Fella, but I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I only got to give it to Kanye just because when he uses a general word like artist, I'm gonna tend to go with the most all around. The fact that he can make his own beats is a huge plus. The fact that he's a little bit more creative in his style, I'll give him that. He's definitely, I mean, like you said, with Beanie or Jay-Z, he's not gonna out rap either one of them. So if we're having that conversation, it's different. But I will say this as unbiased as I can, because I'm not the hugest Eminem fan.
Right.
Eminem, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West probably have the best quartet of opening albums out of anybody that I can think of. Like their first 4 albums are hits, not just like great albums for the streets or people that like rap, but like 4 legitimately super mega albums, just back to back. Like it's juggernauts for sure, man. I think the thing that where people started going a little left with Kanye, I know for sure, is the auto-tune stuff, the 808 Heartbreak stuff. But I actually thought that was a great album. I thought it was a great departure from what we were doing in hip hop. But I usually, when I think about that era, if I'm going to think about 808, if we're talking about emotional rappers, I give it to Kid Cudi. If someone said to me, who is the most emotional rapper that you enjoy? I'm like, oh, it's Cudi. And then maybe Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover. You know what I'm saying? Like that first album, what was it? What was the name of that first Childish Gambino album? Was it Bonfire? Or I don't know. That whole album is fire to me. Absolutely fire. I almost hit play on the song right now, and I realized we're on YouTube. I threw something in there. I was gonna wait for Bex to come through, but it's your girl, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Your girl Glorilla getting some bad faith advice. She's blowing up right now, doing her thing. She is not a one-hit wonder. People are enjoying stuff that she's putting out, but Glorilla getting hit with a little shade, but standing her ground in regards to her womanly figure. Some people think now that she's made it, that she should, get some work done on the physicals. Maybe some pluffing stuffs, little pack and packs. What are your thoughts, man? I think I'm not saying this just because I'm a fan. I think it's super refreshing to actually hear, especially if she sticks with that, sticks to her guns on that stance. Super refreshing because, like, we're in an era of, it doesn't even matter if you're famous for music or you're famous for reality TV. Hell, it's random women on the street that are famous for selling food stamps right now that are using their money to get their body done. So she's comfortable in what she's in, and more power to her. I think that's pretty awesome. And she does have another single called Blessed coming out tomorrow with me.
Yo, I'm in agreement with you, man. Like, I gotta be honest with you, man. She got deep ass voice. Not my favorite type of bars, but I respect her for getting out the mud. But I really, really respect her for this, man. I'm not a fan of the hanging outside with my ratchet ass friends type of aura she's projecting. But I gotta respect her grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking into her backstory, knowing that she's just not some IG person that made that one video and blew up, that she's been doing this for a hot minute trying to get put on. And then on top of that, we're talking about body shaming, this whole big conversation with Lizzo and blah, 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 blah. But I respect her for this, man. Stay a little bitty. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to put all that crazy shit in your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's like Cincy out there checking for you. They want that skinny ratchet energy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of her, man. Do not succumb to, like, the mainstream telling you how you have to look. She's a little woman, and I think she would look mad crazy if she came out with what do they call that? The BBL? Or what is that shit? The BBW?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, the BBL.
Ugh, yuck. Could you imagine grabbing that? I don't even know what's the science behind that? Are they pulling fat from cows and shoving it in people's bodies? What's going on there?
You know what? I don't know. They probably just do it like any other silicone thing. I assumed that they just did it like the silicone implants for breast, but I mean, I could be completely wrong. I have no freaking idea.
Dude, I would think that the cautionary tale of why not to do that is Khloe Kardashian. No shade to Khloe Kardashian, but she was already a naturally, like, thick woman, and then you lose a bunch of weight, and it's like, oh, hey, congratulations to you. But then you gain a bunch of weight mysteriously in your derriere. It looks crazy. That shit only looks good when you got like 19 cameras, an entire makeup crew, and people to normalize it and make it look great. Oh, they take fat from your stomach and stuff and put it in the A.
Well, she'd be at loss for that, because she
ain't got no she got to get donations, man. Glorilla's a slim woman, man. Another thing, man. Hold Up TV's been we've been getting a little traction on the shorts, but I did want to talk to you about this, man. 90s era rappers are in a very precarious place, right? They have to do more to stay relevant, right? They have to say more to be relevant. Shout out, Matt. Welcome in, my brother. And here we are still, Irv Gotti talking about Ashanti. But you know what didn't catch a lot of traction on these interwebs? The conversation about hip hop that Fat Joe brought up. And this is a huge, it's a huge thing, but it's not something I struggle with. So if you're going to say that hip hop came out of New York, right? And you're going to say that there were key players in hip hop. Fat Joe came out and said recently that hip hop, and in regards to its creation, Black people and Puerto Ricans walk hand in hand in this creation. And some people took offense to that. And I don't know why. Because if you know the story of hip hop, not just like the artist, but you're talking about the culture of hip hop, if you want to call it that, the subculture, there were a lot of people mixed in there. People taking, where do you think all those old photos came from? I believe that was a Puerto Rican photographer that took that. We're talking about guys like Crazy Legs and, the people who made up Zulu Nation, which wasn't primarily just composed of Black people. It was Black kids and, Black kids and Puerto Rican kids. And so Fat Joe, who, to his credit, has also come out and said many times that he believes that Puerto Ricans are descendants of Africans, et cetera, et cetera. So he's never been on the fence about that type of stuff. Came out, made that comment. Some shade room people, not the shade room themselves, but the people who frequent these places got upset. What are your thoughts on it?
No, this is New York. Like, it's a giant freaking melting pot. Honestly, I've only been there once, so I'm not going to speak of it, particularly like I know exactly what I'm saying. But just from my point of view, like, you don't know who is who's what. Like it's a big melting pot. So it would only make sense to me in my head that when you have a city that's, the birthplace of hip hop, essentially, that multiple different ethnicities or cultures came together to create that in an urban environment is what I would say best. And that's so it makes sense, like we're all here together, and you can't. There's only so many different features between your average, black guy and a Puerto Rican anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I can understand where people are coming at with that. But again, those are probably a lot of people that come from like where I come from, where in Ohio, where it's literally
Right.
we know black people, we know white people. Like we don't see any of the other stuff going on. So a culmination or a melting pot of culture doesn't even make sense to us, really.
No, and that's actually a very valid point, and that's what I'm talking about. This thing about ownership. Shout out Matt. Shout out Fat Mantis. Mantis just concluded his stream over at Rogue Planet, and they were discussing, Rings of Power, the new Lord of the Rings show that's coming out, and there's this thing about ownership when it comes to media and lore and culture and things of that nature. And when it comes to hip hop, man, it's so antithetical to what the people who were creating hip hop, according to the documentaries I've watched and the people I've watched in hip hop, when they talk about hip hop culture, like when you talk to a guy like KRS-One, yes, he's unapologetically black, but he is also a huge proponent of hip hop culture. And for him, it's a universalist movement, which is all encompassing, right? They accept everyone that embraces the culture of hip hop. So that would be B-boy, like B-boy culture. Now you got this thing where it's just kind of like this ownership where it's like, it's ours. And I'm like, okay. But you'll accept dollars from wherever they come from, right?
Mhm.
But is it really ours if it's music, right? You know what I'm saying? Now I can see if you're saying you're coming from somewhere like the South. Okay, Southern hip hop is most certainly a black creation, right? It's like that, the owner, proprietor, black people from the South. Same thing with Midwest. But when it comes to hip hop proper, no disrespect, it was supposed to be a movement, right? And it was supposed, just like punk rock, it's supposed to be a movement. Punk rock was, and it's funny, there's a great conversation about early 80s hip hop and punk rock in New York, where those two, believe it or not, those two subcultures would mix with each other in Greenwich Village. African Bambaataa started going down there, playing some of the clubs down there, and that brought hip hop down to Soho area, New York. But I just find it interesting, man. Like I could see if Fat Joe came on and said some shit like, I created black people, right? Like I grew them in a tank. I'm taking ownership of all this stuff. But he just said something obvious, which is we walked hand in hand in the creation of this thing. And I think it goes to what was being said in Mantis's stream prior to ours. Sometimes the internet and content creation, the echo chambers that we live in, people will create these stories and this produced outrage. Well, I'm just like, what's to be outraged about? Really, it's music, right? It's music. But I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So you and I started playing El Mariachi music, and we start, are people going to accept us? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
It's crazy because, like you said, with hip hop and then the punk rock, what is the term they use? It's anti-system, like counterculture. Yeah, so it's funny. And to a much lesser extent, hip hop not accepting multiple people from multiple cultures, again, on a much lesser extent, is kind of like America coming over here for the reasons that the Pilgrims did, and then flipping the script like, only for us though.
I mean, that's a valid point, man. It's like, at what point do we just start celebrating the music again? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I blame this on you people from the Midwest and from the South, man. You brought all this madness into hip hop. Actually, no, I blame it on late 90s era hip hop in New York, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this New York took us to strange places, man. It took us to strange places, this whole East Coast versus West Coast beef, and then Now we got all this other stuff and
you shiny suit motherfucker.
tiny shoes wearing motherfuckers. And we can go into so many other things, man, which is just this, right? You know why there's such ownership over hip hop? Because it went from being a counterculture movement to a business. Now it's a huge faceless conglomerate run by maybe 10 people at best, and they determine what hip hop is. And I think that you just tell me your thoughts, man. I think that now it's become such a representation of capitalism that people don't recognize it. It's like if we let anyone else in, then we're losing something. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that one. And I don't want to go too deep into that next thought, but it kind of plays, because we're going to be talking about it on another show, but it kind of plays into my thoughts on how much we have to blame ourselves for in hip hop, the representation of, the thug culture versus how much of that blame also needs to go on, like you said, those 10 people that have found it as such a commercial success that it needs to be exploited.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, man. Here's another valid point, man. What happened to conscious hip hop? I want to take you somewhere right now. Conscious hip hop ruled for so many years to the point where people were listening to music that elevated their thought, elevated their way of life, and then someone said, "Hell no, that shit's boring." I don't want to hear nothing that's going to make me think deeply about things. And now the worst thing you can be labeled as in this era of hip hop is a conscious rapper. When you have people knowingly saying, no, I'm not conscious, I just say some things sometimes, that's a problem, I think, man. I think that's a problem. And I think we've strayed very far away from there being multiple lanes in hip hop. And now it's like, it's got to be drill, it's got to be trap, it's got to be this, and that's all it can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, your best hope as a conscious rapper now is that you get a YouTube following, in my estimation.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much too. I can't point to the exact moment that it died off. You know what happened, in all honesty? And I know that Pac wasn't always a conscious rapper, but for a moment he had his time when he was a conscious rapper, and he kind of took the lead on that for a while. And then we got left with Common.
Whoa, slow your roll, man.
And we got left with Mos Def, who's really good. But you start associating conscious rap with people who do have more of that, like, less aggressive style. That's what happened. And, like, the market changed. The Puff came out with shiny suits, and next thing you know, everybody's got on a shiny suit and chains on. But you're right. You got to go to YouTube. People don't want to think. It's not just that people don't want to think. Back in the day, right, even when you were growing up through some really horrible shit, if we want to go all the way back to, like, the crack era, like, one thing you was going to do if you had the worst education in the world was they were going to make sure that you could speak. You didn't even have to read, but you had to know words. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you can express yourself. And back then, people knew how to do that. I really don't think many new artists today can do that, because it's such a lost art to be able to express, with some type of deeper meaning than,
I'm gonna yeah. No, I agree with that. And it's funny because you remember the group Daz Effects? So I don't know how true this is, but apparently one of the things when they came out with that song You Want to Flex, they were using words in there that people were just like, oh, that's absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's true. Urban legend is they were both English majors, and that goes to the point now. In response to the Tupac conscious rapper, yes, he brought a type of energy that resonated with a certain type of group of people. Most people resonated with songs like Dear Mama, Brenda, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And but I think conscious hip hop played a part in its own death because it got mixed in with backpack hip hop. And that's not to say it was intentional, but there was this kind of exclusive thing where if you're not on the same wavelength as us, then you're, it's not real. And I was a part of that too. I'm like, these are the lyricists, you're an entertainer. And that was the thing. Now, I want to address Matt's statement here. Do you think allowing people in makes the culture grow at all? Yes, Matt, I absolutely do. I think that when it comes to hip hop, the cost for admission is talent, right? That's the cost to get in. You have to be talented enough to get in, but it works in a way sometimes where, okay, let me give you an example. If you were a white MC in hip hop when I was coming up, you had to be talented, right? Because you have so many other things stacked against you on top of being white. Like, people weren't going to take you as serious unless you could absolutely come in there and hold your own. Now the marketing is, oh, it's a white rapper. And they market it as such where it's like they've blended all these things in. Look at this guy, Machine Gun Kelly, man. He is everything in my estimation. No disrespect, Machine Gun, but I got to burn you a little bit. He is everything that has gone wrong and works against white MCs, right? Like, he is this emo mess that's worked its way in. And I'm like, you are everything that most of these white MCs don't want to be confused as some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not tool, gimmick. You're a gimmick rapper, and and it's crazy. But yes, I think allowing people in grows the culture, because the culture is about talent and storytelling. And I think that's why a lot of people were looking at Marshall, aka Eminem, with so much high revere when he came in, because he was talking about something, even though you can make the same comparison between him and Tupac, which is he's not talking about the greatest topics, right? Pill popping, burying his mother, his arguments with his baby mama, but he's talking about things that a lot of people hadn't been exposed to, which is, the culture of living in a trailer park, for lack of a better term. He's representing what many people have been calling white trash for many years and bringing their story to light. Not a term that I like, you know what I'm saying? Because they are impoverished people like myself, but he represented them well. It seems like we got someone else in the stream right now.
Tardy
Banks, so late.
I'm gonna finish a point that we're talking about here, but I would just like to put out there publicly that someone very specifically told me last Wednesday after the show that she'd never be late again, and I told her she's lying. She'll be late next week. I just, I'd like to throw that out there.
Did I say that?
You did. Oh, Bex got her eyebrows did.
I don't remember that, but
okay. How are you doing this evening, Bex?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we are litty titty, as the kids say. I don't know if they still say that, and I never knew what it actually meant. Dope dynamics. Matt says, does the cost of talent to join the culture only for performers, or does that also work for the business side, like managers and such? So it's not only the cost of talent for managers and the business side, but it's an appreciation of the art form itself. I understand that everyone wants a cutthroat manager, but imagine having a cutthroat manager that believes in you and believes in the craft. Like, my guy needs to go on first because he's the best person here. So yes, talent should be a part of that as well. And Matt's actually steering me in a way, because that's the thing they're struggling with over in the geek culture world right now: talent versus forced inclusion. And I would only say this to that: make it make sense. Make it make sense, and really care about the property. Mantis agrees. Bex got her eyebrows did. Oh no, he's saying that you did say you weren't going to be late.
Whose side are you on, Mantis?
But you want to know something, man? The consciousness is not just missing. Again, we were just recently talking this, all three of us, I think last week. It's not just missing from rap. Like, it's gone out of pretty much all versions of black music, if we're going to be honest. Specifically R&B. Like, sometime around the early 2000s is when it died off for everybody. Because if you think, like the last great, we went through the love phase of R&B and all that. The last great phase of R&B was like the neo soul movement, and that wasn't very long. That was like 99 to maybe 04. And then it fell right off, and now we've got like the rappers that want to be singers and the singers that want to be rappers. So it's like everybody, the R&B artists and the rappers are all talking about the same exact thing.
But that's what I'm saying. The cost of admission used to be talent, right? Even when it came to R&B, like you brought up neo soul. The reason that was so wildly popular was because of the texture of the music, the content of the music. We're talking about people that were writing their own music, we think, in most instances, and they were bringing like love into it. Like that whole neo soul era is about love and love loss, and that's what people want to hear when they hear R&B. Now, to your point about rappers wanting to be singers, man, I gotta blame Murder Inc. That is solely that is a Murder Inc. They started Ja Rule, by my estimation, started that shit, man, when rappers wanted to sing, and we have not gotten away from it, man. And that's like, it's the same thing with like Michael Jordan wanting to be a baseball player, man. Like nobody paid for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry for your pain. I'm sorry for the identity crisis you're going through, but we only want to hear the appropriate people doing the appropriate things. And I don't want, I blame pop for this too, man. It's like, I blame NSYNC, right? I blame the boy bands and all that stuff. Back in the day, did you know that the Jackson 5 was considered a boy band? Even the Beatles? But you know what they had, even though they made poppy music? They had talent. They had straight up talent, man.
They did. And you know what, man? Every decade, really has like its character, its personality. Conscious hip hop, conscious R&B, love music, it'll all come back in due time. But like there was no better place for it than the 90s. It's specifically when I'm talking about conscious rap music.
Yeah. All right, so I guess now that Bex is here, we can get into our topics for the evening. So you see the name of the title. We got to get into the dumb shit early. I'm a parent. Since he's a parent, sometimes being a parent can make you crazy, just like being in love can make you crazy. But when you're a parent, it's a different type of love. Like I would wild out for my wife, right? I'll punch the guy behind the hot dog stand. You disrespect my boo, I'm coming across this counter right now, even if she was the one wilding out. But when it's your children's, right? Your children's get disrespected, you get a little nutty. I want to start this by saying when I was in the 3rd grade at PS 191, a school in Manhattan, very nice part of Manhattan that ironically has projects right in the middle of it, right next to Lincoln Center. I remember one day I'm in my cafeteria and a dad shows up and his son had been being picked on by some of the kids in the school. And this man walked into the school with his son and grabbed the kid by the neck who had been picking on his kid and held him there for us all to see. And he was like, y'all ain't going to be touching my kid when he comes to the school. And when my teacher, shout out Miss Englehart, went over to try to confront him, he was like, shut up. He turned back to every kid in that cafeteria. And he's like, the next child that touches my kid in here, there's going to be a problem. And then in his defense, his son was probably one of the most gentle, nice kids in the school, other than me, who was getting picked on just horribly. So a dad recently jumped on the school bus, spazzed out. He brought his homeboy with him too, jumped on the school bus and spazzed out on some kids picking on his children. Bex, tell us about it, man.
Okay, so this whole incident took place in Kentucky. It happened on Friday, and the students were on a bus. They were on a school bus on their way home from Carter Elementary School. And while making a stop, the video shows a man and his friend yelling at the children on the bus, basically threatening to flip the whole bus over if they were to touch his daughter again. The little girl was present with him at the time, and like I said, his friend was there with him, and like all it's not funny, but it's funny because watching the video, like I don't know whose child that is that was crying, but like you can hear the kids crying and stuff like that. And the whole time it was probably the kids that was picking on his daughter that was crying. But
always. Let me play the video for him real quick. Let me see if I get
it. Children sobbing on the school bus after a parent boards the bus and starts cussing them out. This is Wave News at 11. I'm John Bull. The incident happened Friday as students from Carter Elementary were getting a ride home from school. The JCPS spokesperson says 2 men got on the bus and began yelling at the children. Somebody took a video of it and sent it to Wave News. And tonight, Wave News reporter Nick Pick sat down with a mother who says the whole thing was frightening.
Yeah, John, the woman I talked to didn't want to be identified so that it wouldn't be taken out on her child. But she told me the incident on the bus happened after a fight between 2 kids at the school. And what it became was chaos.
Oh, they babies.
This is what JCPS Plus 2047 looked like Friday afternoon. A grown man cursing at the children on the bus, claiming someone on the bus hit his child. The video, shot by a cell phone camera, shows the chaos. The man screaming, another man in a Captain America shirt trying to keep him away from the kids, and the children, who the video shows wailing while this is going on. This woman's child was a bystander on that bus and called her after it happened.
Oh my gosh, it was tears, because you can only, as a parent, and you can't get to that child at that point when you hear them crying. It hurt a lot.
Carter's principal sent this email to parents explaining what happened. The letter says 2 people boarded the bus and threatened the students. When the bus driver got them off, they got in a car and followed the bus. And students say they saw those people display a gun. The bus drove back to Carter, where LMPD and JCPS security were waiting. At that point, the principal had parents come pick their kids up directly from the school. The letter closes by asking parents to talk to their kids and encourage them to use the school's counselors. This mother says her child didn't go to school Monday and won't be back all week.
I'm still scared for my child and other students that was on that bus, in hopes that something can get done to it, because it just seems like our children are being failed all across the board. They need to feel like they're safe, leaving their home, going to school, leaving their school and coming back home safely.
A JCPS spokesperson told me there was an SSO, a school safety officer, at Carter today for dismissal. She also told me police followed the bus in the morning. JCPS security monitored that bus stop. An LMPD spokesperson said to their knowledge, nobody's been arrested. In the studio, Nick Pick, Wave News.
So the dad involved in that incident has come out and said, he's apologized and said, it was outside of his character. It was spurred on by the fact that his child had been beaten up and picked on, and he just reacted, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. But like I said, I'm a parent. First sight, you look at this and you're like, this man is a monster. Until I remember what it was like when I was a child getting picked on. Now, those were babies, absolute babies. I am not condoning screaming at babies, but having children, these little beings that are completely reliant on you for their safety, love, their life, and hearing that your child has been bullied or picked on might make you go crazy. What are your thoughts?
Man, fuck them kids. It's like, I'm playing, but he was like a little extra, like following the bus and like flashing your gun at those kids. That was way overboard. But like it's kids. You got kids out here committing suicide because they're getting picked on and being bullied and stuff. So, I mean, you gotta protect your own for real.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sensi, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel his anger, I feel his rage, but again, like especially with kids that young, you got to find a better way to go about handling that because you're not just your child's protector, you're their role model. They follow your lead, your example. So, you know, I don't want to make any judgments about his character outside of this incident, but that's one of those moments where unless you really, really have a conversation with your child, that's what they deem is acceptable from here on out. So if this was some middle school kids or some high school kids, for sure, I wouldn't even give a shit. The brandishing of the gun, that's entirely too far. Matter of fact, he's lucky he's not arrested, if that's true. At this point, he's actually lucky he's not arrested just for boarding the bus because I'm pretty damn sure that's against the law. But like I said, I feel him, but you got to go about it a different way than that, man. Yeah.
Shout out to JJ2 Eclipse. My wife just heard this and asked me what I would do, and my reply is, "I'm gonna get on that bus and tell them kids to get their daddy. I'm gonna whoop them all." Touche.
The bus driver didn't he had no he couldn't stop them from getting on the bus. Like he had no control over the bus. Like, what was going on?
Listen, that man don't get paid enough to try to stop that dude. That man came on that bus. It reminded me of that scene straight out of Compton when those kids were banging on the gangbangers driving by. So officially for me, right? I just want to give you a little story here. The area I live in upstate New York, we had a situation happen at the school that my son is now attending where general racist slurs were levied at a young African woman. And then when the dad took the appropriate channels and went to the town sheriff to report the situation, they essentially said, "Hey, we know this is horrible, but you don't really want to press charges, do you? It could ruin this kid's life." And these weren't babies. These were like middle school kids, right? Type of thing. So sometimes as a parent, you take the appropriate channels and you're met with this kind of like, okay, kids will be kids type of things. While I don't think this man should have shown a gun, allegedly, if that's what he did, to a bunch of babies on the bus. At the same time, I understand his frustration because you can go to the school administration to deal with this type of stuff and be met with a kind of brick wall of nonsensical things, right? But I probably would not have gone on the bus to do this. I'm probably going to go with JJ2 Clips and I'm going to be like, I need the names and the parents of everyone that's in my kid's class. And that's my warning shot, right? Like, you need to talk to your child. You need to talk to your child. I'm going to talk to my child. I'm going to make sure that my child is not levying false accusations against your child and understand the depth of lying. But if your child is bullying my child, and this situation is not resolved, there's going to be problems, right? I shared with you guys that my son went through a situation in the school where I learned as a parent, not learned, but I knew this, the school's vested interest is not the children. It's protecting themselves, right? They don't want to be liable for anything, right? So I had to tell, a principal in no uncertain terms, don't speak to my child again. Right? Don't talk to my kid when I'm not around. These type of situations, though, you're not going to bully my kid and get away with it. And I'm not going to hold the babies accountable. I am, however, going to hold the school and the parents accountable. You get on top of this shit right now, or I promise you, I'm going to get on top of you. Your kid's got nothing to fear from me. You, on the other hand, you got a lot to fear from me. And it doesn't mean physical threats of violence unless you come over here set tripping. But it does mean legal shit. Because I'm documenting it, right? But that's the way this brother went. But I can understand the frustration. Like, I don't know the backstory. How often has his little daughter come home saying that they've been bothering me? They've been picking on me. You tell your kid just turn the other cheek, and then they come home and the cheek is bruised, and you're like, ah! You know what I'm saying? You spaz out sometimes, Bex. Bex with the new eyebrows. Bex, you acknowledge the fact that your eyebrows did.
These are the same eyebrows. What are y'all talking about?
Your eyebrows. There's something different about them, right?
Maybe she might be showing her forehead, but I don't. Nothing jumped out other than that. I mean,
I think that's what it is because I usually have my hair in my face, but these are the same eyebrows.
Yeah, you missed the Glorilla topic, but
go
ahead.
I want to jump into here. Like I'm gonna take one of the less popular but maybe more known stances on this one too. Both of my kids know not to be violent and things like that. They're very calm demeanored kids. They also know that if they're getting picked on, dad ain't gonna have nothing to say to them if they just happen to hit somebody in the throat. So
yeah, 100%. A friend of mine, her children go to school in Santa Ana, California, and apparently there was a situation where dad had to show up to his school for a very similar thing, but it was the opposite. He was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I practice jujitsu, and my kids practice jujitsu at the same school that I practice at. And if these children continue to attack my kids, I'm going to allow my kids to defend themselves. And if my kids defend themselves, they're going to hurt one of these kids." Right? And I think these are the conversations we need to have because everyone wants to believe that their baby's an angel. But what if your baby's that one running with the pack? Again, I can't confront your baby, but I can confront you, right? And this is the thing that needs to be addressed. Bex is right. Children are killing themselves over being bullied and being ostracized. At the same time, like, how much can you take as a parent, right? And I think that's probably maybe that's why he reacted this way. Or he could have been drinking. I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know what's going through this man's mind. I'm going to assume the best of him and that I don't have daughters, right? I'm crazy about my sons. Oh, man, y'all don't even know how I would act if I had daughters, man. She comes home crying. I'm going outside pistol whipping people. I'm pistol whipping the first person I see outside if my baby girl came home crying. wait.
Not a pistol.
Luckily, my daughter's mom she's great, but she's got a very, very short fuse. So I ain't even gonna make it there to even be able to approach the other kid because her mom's probably gonna come with a sock full of quarters and already knock somebody clean out their fucking britches anyway. So
it's true, man. And you know, babies make you go crazy. But Bex, you picked the topic. What are your thoughts as the non-parent here? I know you said F them kids, man, but how would you have handled it? Oh, hell no. You ain't going to be late and taking phone calls on show.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I swear to God, I promise y'all, I really do be turning this down. I don't understand. Okay, it's okay. It didn't happen.
You get new eyebrows, take phone calls on the show.
I know it's so unprofessional. I apologize. Don't fire me, okay? Yeah, like I said before, like I don't agree with his method and like how he handled things as a whole, but he has a right to be upset because, like I said, kids as young as those kids on that bus are committing suicide, and that shit is scary. That shit is sad. So I would have got on that bus and started yelling at them damn kids too.
I'm telling you, I wish you could have been there that day, man. PS 191, Mantis knows exactly what I'm talking about. Some kids from the projects picking on a kid from Uptown. I know, because he ain't got no car. This is Manhattan. You know that man took the train with his son that morning. And in the train, he's probably holding his son's hand like, you want another one? What do you want, a fig? You give your kids snacks and all that shit to keep them calm on the train. He got to the school and he fucking spazzed since he came in there, grabbed that other kid by the neck and was like, the next one of y'all I thought he was going to break the kid's neck at one point. I was like, oh shit, this is going down, man. But shout out to all the parents, man. And I want you to think about this too. I just want to throw this out there to the ether. We are trained to be docile in reaction to our children nowadays, right? Everything is crisis intervention, conflict resolution. What's the best approach? Let's assume that this man had gone through all the appropriate channels, right? No, those babies should not have had that day. But also, my job is to protect my children, and other children can be extremely cruel. I was telling you this yesterday, since we took our middle son to a school tour. He has what I like to call autism light, and it dawned on me. I was like, oh, he's going to an open campus, not an open campus, but he's going to be around other kids who aren't on the spectrum. How much interaction and how close in proximity is my child going to be to these other children? And that was my warning to them. Like, I'm the dad that asks these questions because I don't give a fuck if I live in gun country. I'm coming down to that school and I'll drag you out in front of your child. Like, I'll do it, because if your response is anything other than I'm going to speak to my child and make sure this doesn't happen again, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for sure.
Oh, yeah.
At any rate, moving on to our next topic of the night. Now, Bex wanted to scrap this one, the other one she put, but I'm gonna go to Cincy's. Okay, Perseverance can make as much oxygen as Mars as a small tree. Okay, roll it out. Since he's got some scientific shit for us tonight. What's going on?
I like to roll with the the nature. I love it, space, all that good stuff. But apparently, Perseverance is the rover that they sent to Mars, obviously, and they sent it up there with a bunch of scientific instrumentation and stuff like that. One of those things was a toaster-sized instrument that is able to take the abundance of CO2 in Mars's atmosphere. It's 96% CO2, and they're able to remove the carbon from the CO2 and just make it into straight oxygen. So apparently this machine is able to make up to 6 grams of oxygen per hour. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's about what the average size tree puts out on Earth.
Okay.
The idea is they've been testing it through the last year just to see if it works in different environments, different seasons, because there's extremes on Mars. It's not like here where it's pretty consistent. Like there's 100-degree temperature differences between the seasons. So apparently they're all success with that, and are planning on sending up the next mission. They go a much bigger machine that can run constantly. I thought this was really interesting, not for the implications it has on Mars, because basically they're finding out how they're gonna make it livable in the domes for people that experiment. The interesting part is, why the hell are we not doing that here? Why the hell are we sitting here worried about these trees? We're cutting all these forests down, and we don't have a toaster-sized object creating clean oxygen on Earth. Like that, I think that's what people get the most frustrated about with these billionaires and these scientists, and me too. And I love science and space and all that, but like, where's that money here? Because I just brought up the other week about how they're about to wipe down that forest in Congo.
Yeah.
Well, the big reason is because it's not creating oxygen, and it's not absorbing the carbon to create oxygen like a plant. Why are we not creating the artificial plants here?
Well, Cincy, the reason that this is a huge deal is because Elon Musk and the rest of the global elites have decided that once they terraform Mars, they want to make sure that it's livable, right? So livable, in fact, that the only poor person that will be allowed on Mars with them will be Mantis, because he will surely be Elon Musk's butler. Right? I don't know. I don't know, but it seems like it would be more pressing to do it here. Also, the immediate thought that came to my mind as you were talking about this is, I don't know if I want to enable people not to take culpability in what we're doing to the Earth, but at the same time, what's right is right, and you should be using that technology to help clean the air here as well. Let's definitely look forward to, colonization of Mars and the migration, but let's not turn Earth into a dystopian place where people have 3 boobs, right? I don't want that. I don't want total recall on Earth, man. I don't think 3 boobs are sexy. I saw most people watch Total Recall when they were kids, like, oh man, she got 3 boobs, and I was just like, yeah, something's gone wrong. Something's going wrong here.
Take this. I'm gonna. If you had the third titty, and I'm assuming that it's going to be dead in the center, like when you're on the bottom, you don't have to do that like awkward stretch up to lean up to her. It would just like already be in your.
All I can think of with the third deformed boob would be like, I'm such a anti-preternatural person. I'm like, this is not right. This is not right. Get that third boobie out of here. I don't want that thing in my face. You know, the third boobie would probably be leaking something too because it's not natural, right? It's like it's a deformity.
We can handle COVID, but God forbid. Okay, so on the actual point she said though, what happens if it fucks up something here on Earth instead of working properly? Well, that's the brilliant thing that I thought about it. They're already converting something here that's on Earth. It's CO2. It's not like something that's not natural to Earth. So it's not like they were taking the rocks or some foreign Mars object and creating it into oxygen. They're literally doing the same thing that we're doing here with the same carbon monoxide. So like, I don't know. I don't think it can fuck too much shit up.
Okay, well, I just want to point this out, right? How many horror films, sci-fi films have started off with that same thing? With mankind being united and rejoicing in the little toaster converting carbon dioxide into clean, breathable air, and then we find out it's making zombies. Right? And I'm not saying we should base our policies off The Walking Dead and shit like that. I just want to point.
But why not though? I feel like.
But Wall-E sacrificed his goddamn life to keep that plant safe, just like this little toaster will, motherfucker.
Talking about Wall-E? Did you just bring up Wall-E?
Yes, he did.
I never seen that. Did Wall-E die at the end of that?
I don't think he died, but damn it, he died. He gave his life. He didn't die, but I mean, he was this close when he was in that trash compactor.
Him and Eve lived happily ever after, I think. I remember correctly. But isn't that the outcome? I mean, like the higher ups, the people who run the world, the billionaires, they're bored. So I mean, I feel like they're ready to fuck some shit up and move to another planet anyway. So
well, they've succeeded. They fucked it up, and we gotta stop pretending like poor people don't help in this, right? Because we could make a better choice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be responsible, be poor, and ride a bike.
I mean, but how much going green is going to help with people who have money?
Well, I mean, that's like saying, are condoms really stopping? You're saying you're still gonna strap up, right? You just apply that same logic, unless y'all are two scumbags that don't believe in strapping up. God damn the carbon. We need to get this population control thing right. Both of you.
Oh God.
Be less CO if there was less people having unprotected sex.
Yeah, you might be on to something there.
No, I mean, okay, so yes, I do believe that we should be as much as possible, and this has to be a group effort, pouring resources into finding new ways to protect ourselves from destroying ourselves. But as I stated, remember, there's only one person getting on the ark to Mars with Elon and the rest of them, and that's Mantis. So that's why they're not doing that here, in my humble opinion.
It's happening sooner than later. I'm going to let y'all know that right now. By all estimations of what I've found out, there's going to be a working population on Mars by like 2040.
Okay, so you know how we're all terrified of automation? Do you know why I believe in evil and not just the man? Because wouldn't automation be so much better served, even though, yes, this leads us into another sci-fi conundrum? Why not send the robots there to terraform Mars? Why do I need a robotic, truck delivering bananas? That's, you cutting a few costs, putting people out of work. Let's get the robots up there. Let's get them ready. Let's let them terraform. Let's lose contact for a month or so, and then blindly go to the planet to find out what happened to the robots, only to find out the robots have gone and slaughtered the flies. But as I said, Mantis and Elon and those people that find out first, and we'll be too poor to go up there to see what happened. I'll just assume the worst happened. I'm like, well, we're going to stay here. I'm going to use the toast in the air.
They need test dummies, don't they? So
I'll volunteer. I don't care. You know.
You going to Mars?
Yeah, I go to Mars. My whole goal in life is only to earn enough money so that on my dying days, I can buy a mini Battlestar Galactica and just get sent on a one-way mission that, into the middle of space.
I just want to end up in a situation where you guys get thrown into the battle arena and I turn around in my mutated form and I'm the guy that's hosting the battle arena. I'm like, welcome to Steve's Royal Games. You're like, is that Steve? I do believe that we need to do more research and put it into, but I think people are right to ask the obvious question, like, what? But also, we should not be cutting down the rainforest, if for another reason. I believe in good stewardship over the gifts on which God has given to us. And when I found out about all the animals that died during the Australian fires, you know how many fucking koalas died in those trees? And indigenous life form damn near wiped off the planet because of our decisions. The koala didn't pollute the earth. And Mantis, don't you start no shit with me. Koalas are not insidious creatures, right? They didn't deserve the fate these are things we should be researching.
Who says that? Who says koalas are insidious?
Republicans hate koalas. If you bring a koala up at a conservative party, they'll be like, well, what has the koala done for us? And it's true. They serve no real purpose in the scheme of things. They deserve to burn in their trees because we don't know how to get our shit together. That's why I'm on the side of the apes in Planet of the Apes. I'm on their side, man. I'm like, fucking throw the last human in the cage, beat his ass with a stick.
Okay, hypothetical question. If aliens came and they wanted to destroy the earth, like, would you switch sides or would you?
Oh, hell no. I'm going out like that dad on the bus. Anywhere my kids are, as long as my kids are on this planet with you guys, don't worry. I got your back. As soon as I find out my kids are elsewhere, if the aliens are like, hey, we got your kids out, I'm like, oh, what about everyone else's kids? If the babies and the koalas and the animals are okay, y'all are fucked.
The koalas.
Deal. I would help extinguish the life of any adult if it meant to save the animals, the babies, and the elderly. Some of the elderly. A quarter of the elderly. In the world I'm envisioning. We've lived our lives, right? We've contributed to the problem that we're in right now. Let's save the babies. Let's save the koalas and the animals.
Who's we? I still have a life to live.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
In the grand scheme of things, your life is over.
Wow.
They're coming to take me home, so I don't really give a shit either way.
Who's coming to take you home?
The aliens.
No, you too militant for the aliens. You're gonna say something to fuck your ride all up.
No. See, I'm under the impression that the aliens look like us, so they're coming to take us home.
Since he's gonna be good until he starts a debate with an alien, and they're gonna be like, "There's no such thing as a black man. There are only humans." And then since he's gonna pull out his kufi, and that's it. You're gonna kick your ass right out the ship.
So y'all know y'all came from us, right?
Exactly.
It's right here in the pyramid.
Matt says nope. Fuck those koalas. Good God, Matt. I can see if you were saying dolphins. Now that we know that dolphins have committed acts of violence against other dolphins, but koalas, they're all...
Side note, you know who? Like, what other animal is violent as fuck? Otters. Otters are so cute, but they are violent as hell. Did you know that?
I mean, I could see that they have they look as if though they could be violent, though. They're made for war. Oh man. Okay, hold on. We'll get back to the seriousness right now.
Next is high.
JJ, I'm gonna call you JJ. It says choke them aliens with his beads, talking about Cincy.
Damn right.
I'd watch a movie with all these ideas. Thank you. A world where I'm a gladiator master. No, that's the obvious reason, right? And this goes par and parcel with something I believe, man. The next ark that leaves this planet will not be filled with people who are able to get on that trip. I just don't believe it. Whenever I think about terraforming Mars, I think about the people who are going to be paying for it. And I just don't see what reason they would have to bring me along except for it to be a serf. And since I know that my imminent demise would come at the hands of some type of slave driver where I'm like, I ain't doing that, and fuck you. And they're going to just jettison me right out the ship. That's why I believe these things are happening. But they should put more research into it, Cincy.
My goal in life is to be on that ark. I want to be there. I want to go.
Wow, I'm just hanging out with two fucking sellouts, huh?
I'm not a sellout. Like, isn't this about survival? Like, don't you want to survive?
At what cost? You willing to go back into bondage to get to Mars?
You think they're gonna enslave us on Mars?
What general purpose would you serve on Mars to the elite?
I mean, doesn't matter. Like,
yes, it does matter. What purpose?
If I marry rich, like, does it really matter? Like,
oh, see, and this is why Kevin Samuels is making those videos. You trying to jump a high value ride off the planet?
every week, I realize how Bex is slowly conforming.
This is about survival, okay? This is about survival.
Bex in her feminist card said, "Give me the red pill and the red ticket off the planet."
Jesus.
You gotta play the game to win, okay? And I'm trying to win. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I want to
win. Man, I'm having too much fun talking about this stuff, man. It's crazy. Again, bringing it back to the toaster objects, but we don't know. We don't know, right? Do we know if they're going to pour something into it, into this? The crazy thing about environmental talking and the technology to kind of course correct in this, depending on which news article you click on in the morning, will tell you we've either gone too far and it doesn't matter, or there's still time, but it's not cost effective. And both of those things sound asinine to me. Matt says he's staying here on Earth. I'm staying here on Earth as long as it doesn't go what is this shit? Mad Max. Because I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about y'all if it goes Mad Max, right? My family's going to be fine. But I guarantee if they say we have enough food for the next 20 years, I go cannibal that day. And I already got a list and groups of people that deserve that type of energy from me. I'm showing up to Congress, Senate. If they better be on ships when the shit's going down, or Steve's coming like the juggernaut.
How you going to get there, Steve?
I already got a plan. You don't think I've been thinking about this shit? What do you think I do down in this little basement? You know what type of armory I got behind this door?
Okay.
Oh, Manta shows his true colors. I've been practicing my butler. Y'all didn't take Cincy's serious subject and turned it into this madness.
Somebody said something about 3 titties and it went from there. It's okay.
You just brought up the third boob. Have you guys?
How about you?
No, it couldn't be. I'm way. Would never in uncouth behavior such as that. When's the last time you guys watched Total Recall? Because it lends itself to the point I'm making.
Never watched.
Poor people on Mars.
Say that again.
Do you remember what happened to the poor people on Mars in Total Recall? They were there, but the air filters on the planet were not being upkept, so they started to mutate. Yes, they got powers, but at what cost? It was a child with half a brain, if I remember correctly, covering her face. It was a dude with another dude coming out of his stomach, and not the way that anyone wants to think about it, like in any shape or form. Literally, your man opened his shirt, and a little man came out and said, "Quaid, open your mind." I would have kicked that thing dead in its face. It would have been over. Right? This is what happens when poor people participate in space exploration. Look at Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Anytime there has been a group of poor people involved in any space-bound adventures, they're always the ones who lost air first. Here's the next point: Star Trek: The Next Generation. These are not poor people, but the ensigns with the red shirts. You know, those guys that got sent on the away team. I guarantee they were all from poor neighborhoods. It's like Worf, you, and that poor kid we brought with us go down on the away team. Nobody's supporting them.
So don't be poor.
But is that really
real red pill shit right there?
Is that really interplanetary advice? Because they also let the poor people die first on the Titanic too. So I mean, we're kind of already going through that anyway.
This historically, if I could time travel, if I was in Quantum Leap, I would tell every poor person, like, do not get on that boat.
It was a ship.
Bex, you wouldn't even be involved in this. Apparently, you would be with Billy Zhang and the rest of his rich friends selling us out. Did you hear what she just said? She just red pilled you, Cincy. She was like, "Don't be poor. Just start using crypto. You'll make more money."
I heard. One of my beats fell off my chain when she said that.
Manta says Quanto lives. Bex, when did you fully conform to the red pill nonsense? I've been noticing you. Did you meet some old rich man?
I have not conformed to anything. Okay. Nobody's conforming.
She's like, I'm surviving.
Exactly. This is about survival. I'm not conforming. I just want to survive. Okay. That's it. That's it. And I want my offspring to survive.
Okay.
Listen, your ancestor that's right behind you is about to dump that bucket of water on you.
Dexter throw those pictures out so quick when her rich white man comes. She's like, "What's up, daddy?" And those pictures are going right into flames.
Don't do it.
Right in the flames. Right in the Manta says all the humans only create 1% of carbon emissions. Industry makes the other 99%. Okay. So industry makes up the other 99%. I would challenge you to ask who mans the helm of said industry. And that's my point in regard to that, because the industry is not the Borg. It's not manning itself, reproducing unnecessarily consuming resources while doing it. We have created this. We are the industry. You know, we're doing this, but what are we doing to offsuit it? And I think Cincy's article brings up a very good question. Where is the counter technology to help protect us in these situations? It seems like it's all being shipped to Mars. It seems like you guys are all ready to jump ship to Mars, and I cannot believe what I'm hearing here, right?
Cincy, because nobody gives a fuck about this planet anymore. Who gives a fuck about this planet anymore?
I do. God gave us this planet.
Do you really?
Yeah. That's why I drive a shitty little battery car.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. What are you gonna say now, Bex? Didn't think I was gonna take it there? Have receipt?
I mean, no, I don't. I
recycle, Bex. This is why I live in the wilderness and I keep my carbon footprint as small as possible.
Okay, congratulations. I mean, because I do the same thing. I take public transportation to work because I feel like cars are just unnecessary. So I mean, I get it.
No, that's what poor people say. Cars are very necessary.
They're only necessary for long distance traveling.
You live in an area where you'd have a better chance of getting destroyed on the bus. You should definitely invest in a car. I'm in
the county. Nobody's coming for me. It's fine.
Oh man! Says any other thoughts on this, man? Because I know it's actually serious. What else do you think, man?
Oh man, I don't know. I really wish like there was a pledge for from Musk and from NASA and them. It's like for every dollar they spend towards some space technology, they would put it towards something here that would be equally as beneficial to the Earth. I don't know. I feel like that's not asking too much.
Who is this guy? Do we know this guy? Who's this?
Which one?
Who's this? Who's this?
don't know, but the commentary is amazing.
Hello, JJ. Thank you for coming.
No, I agree with you, man. I really do think that it's going to take more than just wearing hemp clothing at this point to save what we've already started to destroy. But I do believe in the grace and mercy of God, and I believe that obviously this song, this whole plan is going to be sung a swan song at some point, whether it be from solar flares, black holes, et cetera, et cetera. But why not take care of it while we're on it, right? And while we fight these inner battles over nonsensical shit, whether Andrew Tate should be allowed on the internet or if Lizzo's big ass should be called a big ass because she is big. Meanwhile, the rest of the earth is burning and koalas are dying in their trees. And I mean that like seriously. Like, I don't know. Did we talk about Lizzo last week? Do you guys care about the Lizzo situation?
No. I mean, we didn't talk about Lizzo, but...
Well, that's what the earth is worried about. They're worried about Lizzo's comfortability and not the air we breathe. You see how you're fanning yourself right now, Bex?
Because I'm intoxicated and I'm hot. So,
did she just say she's intoxicated?
I think she was complicated. What did she say?
No, she said intoxicated. So this is the third straight week she was late because she been drinking.
JJ with the facts, not choosing sides, just feeding off the energy. I enjoy all y'all points of view. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you, JJ.
Listen,
oh God.
I mean, look at what we're focused on. Like and I'll throw myself in there as a culture. Obviously, I'm a man trying to get monetized ethically. Bing on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta talk about Lizzo and all her shenanigans, but
yeah, because media controls the masses. So, I mean, what do you expect for us to do?
You're like an old white Republican man.
But that's true. Media does control the masses. Like, is that not true?
It's very true. It's very true. Are you saying that Lizzo's derriere is not media worthy? Are you shaming that black woman?
I didn't say that. I wasn't shaming her. I'm just saying it's in the media, and media does control the masses.
But is it big enough to consume the entire media? My bad. That was.
Shut up.
Wait, what do you think, Cincy? Like, is it?
There's a place. I mean, I guess there's a place for it. It's called the fucking. You know what? Send all them motherfuckers to Mars. I don't give a shit. Send all them motherfuckers to Mars. I'm be right down here working on the fucking launch codes, and we send that motherfucking shit right towards their red fucking planet. That's how we get rid of the problem. Let the problem leave, thinking they're going to some place to leave us the fuck up, and just take them out while they're gone, because they ain't coming back. You're not coming back.
My trope. The rich people
motherfuckers would try to land your happy ass space shuttle back in Africa. It's gonna be a real fucking problem coming back from Mars.
Are we taking out the planet as a whole, or just taking out the people on the planet?
Just the people on the ship. All we got to do is take out one dome, and it's over for them anyway. It's gonna take 1,000 years to terraform this shit.
Okay. Here we go. Are you guys telling me that a woman loving herself regardless of her size isn't sexy? I find it extremely attractive when a big girl struts like she's a size 4.
As long as she's
delusion can only get you so far, but I mean, whatever. I get it.
Here's the thing, right? Let Lizzo strut, right? You strut, you do your thing. You live your best life, and all those colloquialisms that you people love to throw out there. Do you, boo? Chase the bag. Don't let no man tell you how to do nothing. But you have to have the confidence to go along with that. So that means that if Ari Sparks, or whatever that brother's name is, comes at you, keep that same energy that you had when you had your ass out at the Lakers game. You didn't care about those people talking about you, so we care about the washed up dude from Mad TV talking about you, and then coming out and saying you're oppressed. That's an insult to the ancestors. Do you know what oppression is? Do you know what it feels like to actually be oppressed? It doesn't mean you get to be on the social media when you're oppressed. When you're oppressed, you don't get to do shit.
I think we've already established that she is an attention whore. So, yeah.
You slut shaming.
I'm not slut shaming, but she is an attention whore. And I respect that. Like, she knows what's going to get her, you know, these views and these, I don't know, points or whatever. And like, and it's funny because like she's in the gym, she's working out, and she was losing weight. And when she was losing the weight, people came for her for losing the weight. So I think she's very smart, and she's picking what card that she needs to play. And this is the card that she's playing.
Listen, all I know is that Serena Williams last, you know, what could be the last tour for her, and I don't give a shit about that. But
why not?
What I do care about is that Mike Tyson was at one of those games and was caught on video talking to himself. Here's my point exactly. Do you think that Mike is going to write a wordy letter about mental health issues in regards to being ostracized and made fun of? You know why he's not going to write anything like that? Because Mike Tyson would literally whoop your ass if you had the courage to say it to him in person. He doesn't care about how the internet works. I'm not entirely sure he knows how it works, other than that he's on it. If he doesn't the planet itself, Mike Tyson has the confidence in himself to say, "Hey, I don't care if you make fun of me for talking to myself." Lizzo, on the other hand, has made.
You're saying that she doesn't have any confidence within herself.
No, she doesn't have. She lacks the courage of her conviction.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Like me, when I show my fat belly when I go outside and I'm eating 3 hot dogs, glizzy goblin. Wait, pause. When
wow.
I don't care what people say. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at a family get together and there's deviled eggs out, and I push a small child out the way to get to the rest of the deviled eggs, I don't give a shit what it says about me. Right?
You know, the fucking shaming of the hot dogs is the dumbest fucking. You know what? Half of these motherfucking Gen Z, whatever the fuck, all you guys are motherfucking gay and homophobic. That's the real fucking. I'm gonna say it. I don't give a shit. There's no way that should be a fucking. I'm eating a goddamn hot dog or a fucking banana, and I gotta worry about one of you fucking weird ass motherfuckers talking about the glizzy goblin or I'm gay because I'm eating a fracking fucking hot dog. Like, shut the fuck. I will mush your fucking face with this glizzy. How you feel about that?
Oh, Jesus. So JJ has outed themselves as someone that knows me because they call me by my government. Yeah, no, listen, man. You've never sound more like a young conservative than that moment. He's like, hot dogs are American. I agree with you, man. We've taken the pause way too far, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, fun fact.
I agree.
We, my crew in the Haven, we started pause. I know you guys think that comes from the Boondocks, but no one else was saying that shit before us.
Y'all started it?
We started that shit.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof, sir? How did y'all
there were 6 of us, and Mantis was there that night. We were playing video games. This is how this shit started, and we pushed it all through Manhattan. It started, we were playing video games, and one of our homeboys said something suspect, and I can't remember which one of which one of us said it, but they were like, yo, pause on that shit, because they hit the game. They hit pause on the game. They weren't saying pause to the statement. He hit the start button, hit pause, and then it kept going from there.
Okay. I believe you. I believe you.
I want my money. I don't know how to monetize that shit, but I want my money.
You can't monetize it. Good night, Tim.
Good night, Tim. This show is going to straight madness, but I had a good time tonight, man. Dope Dynamics has been losers absolutely.
Wait, are we ending it now? Are we done?
23. We can only talk about dicks, Lizzo's big ass, and hot dogs for much longer. If you came on time, you would have as much fun as Cincy and I have been having for the past hour and 23 minutes.
I mean, were you guys really having fun though without me?
We were.
Yes.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
But since we're in that portion of the show, folks, you're looking at it right now. Tipsy Alley herself has her own show on Spoon. Right now, I think it's on Sundays, but depending on her mood, we'll see where she wants to go with it. It is a Hold Up TV network production powered by Bex. Another one of, we're partners in this endeavor together. It is called Pillow Talk, brought to you by Bex. 10:30 on Spoons. Am I correct, Bex, on Sundays?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you tune into that. And I want you to come to the show while Bex is still being honest, because Cincy and I are taking a bet on how long after the last time I'm on the show she goes full girl code. So that's why I've been recording every episode, and I will be dropping clips to expose her whenever she switches back to her female shit. Just
wait.
Whoever's in Twitch, clip all that red pill shit Bex was saying right now when she has all her female friends. I'm like, Bex, didn't you tell me to marry a white man and get my
Oh my God. First of all, this is why I be like, this friendship dynamic is just trash because y'all taking bets on me like behind my back. Like I thought
we could just bet in front of you. You were in the stream. You were just drunk when we said it. Just like I be drunk. I know that by the time I get off these streams with y'all, like our private shit in Discord, I have no idea what we talked about the next day.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Did y'all really say it in the stream though? And I just was too drunk to remember?
Yes.
For real?
Princess Bex if you nasty, DJ Cincy Star if you're crazy, your man Steve, real name no gimmicks, dope dynamic. Cincy, get us out of here, man.
Hey, I want to send appreciations to everybody that came through. This was another fun, exciting, oftentimes informative, other times not. Apparently, it's okay, but we love you coming through. Tomorrow night, we got Request Box Live. I don't know what the theme is, but I do know on Friday it's Foo Foo Friday. If you don't know, now you motherfucking know. We are out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.